Hey everybody, it's Miss Kalanicki. Sorry I couldn't be in today, but got a lot of fun things going on for today. Just make sure you copied your homework down. It's right here. Homework number 61 is due Thursday. Again, highly recommend you do it by Thursday to keep, keeping up with your work. There will be a quiz on Monday. Make sure you take the handout for today and put the date on it, the date and the page number. You can find the page number on your cover. So make sure right now you should have all the pages so far. Make sure you have your project. Actually, I have your project, but make sure you have 9.0. So this would be 9.1. Okay, moving forward. So what you're going to do is you're going to get this notebook document, and the sub will click on this cover of the book. You're going to hear circumference and the first round table. You're going to hear a lot of the vocabulary words that we're going to be talking about today. So you can pause the video, do this, and then come back to the video, and I'll talk about the rest. Alright, so now that you have heard circumference in the first round table, we're going to talk about some of the vocab that you might have heard in the story. First one is radius. There's a lot of different ways to draw a radius. Many different radii, but typically you draw it from the center and then in any direction towards the outside of the circle. So I'm going to draw a little dot where the center should be, and I'm just going to draw a straight line out to one of the sides. Now, the description of that I want you to copy down is the distance from the center of a sphere to any point on the sphere. Okay, so from the center to any point on the sphere. So I could technically draw an infinite, means infinity, infinite number. If I draw it from here to the center, to the side, I can draw it from the center to over here. So it doesn't really matter where I draw it. You just need to draw one. So I'm going to try to draw a really nice one for you guys. Actually, I'll just use my line tool. So from the center out to one of the sides. That is a radius. And you may want to emphasize that it's the center by drawing kind of a little dot there. There you go. So again, copy this down. The distance from the center of a sphere to any point on the sphere. So now, how are you going to figure out the radius? Well, if you are given the diameter, you can figure out the radius. So I'll wait till after diameter to talk about the formulas. So diameter, remember di of meter, right? She was as tall as the table. So it's a line that goes through the whole circle, including the center. So she was just as tall as the table, up and down. You could also have drawn it, horizontally. You could have also drawn it diagonally. And let's get the definition of the vocab word here. It's the distance across a circle through the center. Distance across a circle through the center. Alright, so now that I have a diameter and a radius, I'm going to talk about some formulas. So there's a very easy formula to get from one to the other, and from this radius to diameter, from diameter to radius. If you have the diameter, all you have to do is cut it in half to get a radius. If you notice, I'm just going to draw a little line right here. You can see that little red line is a radius, and this little green line is a radius. Any radius is exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is, if I know the diameter, I'm going to cut the diameter in half, also known as dividing it by 2, and that will get you the radius. So that's one way to get the radius. Now if I have the radius and I want to figure out the diameter, I just take the radius and I times it by 2. 2 times the radius will equal a diameter. So once again, if this little guy, let's say, was 3, that means this little guy up here, the red one is 3, and the green one is 3, which would make this whole thing 6. So 2 times 3 makes 6, so that would be correct. The whole diameter is 6. If I knew the diameter was 6, 6 divided by 2 makes 3. So there you go. Works out. Numbers are just there. You don't have to write them, but... Alright. Moving on. A chord. Something a little different, but they do sometimes draw them in the distance across a circle that's not through the center. So basically I'm going to draw a straight line. It's just not going to go through the center of the circle. Look how kind of weird that looks. There is no formula for this, none. So I'm going to write not applicable, N-A, N/A, not applicable. Means there is no formula. And the final one is the word circumference. Again, if you want to highlight this, this might be good. Circumference is the outside of a circle. The outside distance, I'm going to draw an arrow around it so you can see I went all the way around the circle. So the definition for circumference is the distance around a circle. It's almost like, and I'll add the word, it's almost like the perimeter. It's just a fancy word for perimeter for circles, circumference. Now there is a formula for circumference, and you will find actually two formulas on your formula sheet that you'll be given for a test. And I think it's actually on your cover. I'll have to double check though. It might be on your cover, it might be on the back of your parent letter. There's two formulas. C for circumference, capital C, equals 2 pi, it looks like a little kind of like tent, r for radius, so 2 times pi times r. The other formula, which I find a lot easier, is C equals pi, again another tent, times d diameter. So I want you to write both. We probably will be using one more than the other, but I want you to get comfortable seeing both so you know what to do. Alright, pause the video if you need more time to copy, otherwise I'm moving forward. Okay. So now, let's talk about some examples. I'm going to draw. I put these in on purpose because it does help when you see a picture of it. So if you say, if it says there's a radius of 5.2, I want you to draw a radius and label it 5.2. Alright, so here's my radius. Now it says I want the diameter. Okay, so if I want to go, instead of just halfway across, I want to go all the way across. I'm going to do 5.2, and if you think about it, there's another kind of 5.2 on this side. So what's 5.2 plus 5.2? Or I could times it by 2. But I think the adding might actually be faster this time. 5.2 plus 5.2 makes... You have the answer? Are you sure? Are we right? Good for you. Alright, so now the circumference. Every time you do circumference, or anytime you see the word circumference, I want you to write the words C equals, let's do pi times d. For today's purposes, we're going to use the directions leave your answer in terms of pi. Leave your answer in terms of pi. That just means that there will be a pi in your answer, just like there was an x in your answer when we did expressions. 2x was an answer. So there will be a pi in our answer. So according to this formula, I just have to take the diameter, which I have right here, 10.4, and times it by pi. Now you know, just like x, we usually like to put the coefficient in front and the x last. So that's how I'm going to write it this time. So I'm going to write 10.4 in the front, and I'm going to put the pi at the end. And I'm going to leave my answer like that, in terms of pi, with pi in my answer, in terms of pi. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. For my second example, now they're telling me the diameter is 19. So again, I'm going to draw what a diameter looks like, which is a line straight across the circle going through the center. There's 19. So I know that, and the picture helps me remember, I know I have to cut this in half to make a radius. So I'm going to go 19 divided by 2. What is 19 divided by 2? Well, you have a calculator, so you should be doing some of that right now. I'm doing it too. Alright, I got... You too? I hope so. Okay. And our circumference. Again, I'm going to write the formula. C equals pi times d. And this time, what does our diameter equal? Good, our diameter is 19. I'm going to rewrite it, except I'm going to put the 19 in the front and the pi in the back. 19 pi. Again, I'm leaving these answers. I'm going to type it out for you. I'm leaving these answers. Leave your answer in terms of pi. And they can either write pi like pi, and that's how you do spell it. I didn't misspell it. It's not like apple pie, it's just pi. Or they can write the symbol in terms of, and then write the symbol for pi. Okay. Now I want you to, maybe with a partner, you can pause the video. With a partner, I'm going to read these first, but after I read them, you can pause the video. Do these practice activities. What is the relationship between the radius and the diameter? You may want to explain, or you may want to give an example. You know, draw a picture. Tell me what the radius is. Make up a number. If the radius is 2, what's the diameter? If the radius is 5, what's the diameter? Explain that. And then finally, with your partner, decide which one of these does not belong. So one of them just does not go with the other one. I want you to decide which one that is and be able to explain it. Okay, so pause the video, come back, and we'll share these answers. Okay, so I told you that you may want to give an example for this one. So here is I'm going to draw some circles because that's what I'm all about with this unit, drawing some pictures. Actually, I'm going to make mine exactly the same. Here we go. So what is the relationship between a radius and a diameter? So if I have a radius, and my radius is, I'm going to make it 7. And my diameter is going to be 7 on one side and 7 on the other side, which is going to make it 14. So what's this relationship? I would write, let's write it here. The diameter is double the radius, or the radius is half the diameter. Just like those formulas we're talking about earlier. Make it red to go with my drawing. Here we go. So again, something having to do with the diameter and the radius, the diameter being twice as much or double or 2 times as much would also be correct. All right, the bottom answers. Which of these does not belong? The distance around a circle. Well, that we know is circumference. Okay, so that's circumference. Pi times the diameter. Hey, we wrote that down. Pi times the diameter is also circumference. Pi times twice the radius. Pi times twice the radius, technically not in the same order, but technically is the same, is also circumference. The distance from the center to any point on the circle. This is the one that does not belong. Does anybody know what that is? What vocab word that is? The distance from the center, now I'm going to draw a picture, from the center, that's a terrible center, to any point on the circle. What's that called? Did you say it? My terrible pen handwriting. Radius. All right. And the last little bit, I want you to try to do these on your own. You have an example. We did a chart just like this before. This is a little different, just the pictures are different. I have real life pictures with labels on them. Make sure though that your answer has a label. Just like this has millimeters, your answer should be in millimeters. This is centimeters, your answer should be in centimeters. Take a few minutes, finish this up, and come back to the video when you're ready to go over it. Alright, hopefully you're ready to go over it. So again, number 1, the diameter they give you is 15. To find the radius, which is a smaller amount, I'm going to have to take 15 and divide it by 2, which will get me 7.5. I had 15, that's terrible, divided by 2. I got 7.5. I hope you wrote the formula here. C equals pi times D. Leaving your answer in terms of pi. C equals 15 pi. There you go. That's it. Easy peasy. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about what this answer is if we don't have it in terms of pi, but that'll be for another day. All right, this one, the radius is 2.5. So I'm going to draw my radius, label it 2.5. To get the other side, I have to do another 2.5. So I could add it. I could do 2.5 plus 2.5 on the other side. Or I could do 2.5 times 2. Either way, you got a calculator, so it'll work. You should get 5. C equals pi times d. Or as I like to say, cherry pies are delicious. That's a way to remember it. I know I didn't introduce it yet. That is a way that I like to remember it. We'll talk about that more. And for this one, my diameter is 5, so I'm going to write 5 with a pi next to it, 5 pi. All right, down to the bottom. Find the radius, which means this dimension that they gave you is the diameter. So I have to take 5 and cut it in half to get that little radius right there, half of it. So 5 divided by 2. Oh, you should know that. That should look familiar. 2.5 centimeters. That's the answer to the first one. I cut it in half. Same thing with 28. I'm going to take 28, I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to get 14 millimeters. Sorry for the terrible handwriting. Alright, next one says find the diameter. So here's half of the circle. I want the full circle. So 6 on this side, 6 on the other side will make 12 centimeters. 6 on top, 6 on the bottom, 12 centimeters. 0.8 feet plus another 0.8 feet, if you got to add it, you know, but I know you got a calculator. This will be 1.6 feet. If you add it on the calculator, you should get the same answer. 1.8 plus 0.8 is 1.6. Now it's find the circumference. Okay, so let's talk about this. If we wrote the formula, we should know what to do. C equals pi times d. Do I have the d? That's what you got to ask yourself. Do I have the diameter? I do in this one. So my answer is just going to be 10 pi. Okay. There was 10. 10 was the diameter. So my answer is 10 times pi, which is 10 pi. C equals pi times d. Let's look at this one. I don't have the diameter, but I can figure it out. Right now I have the radius. The radius is 7. So if I have 7 halfway, and I have another 7, that would make my diameter, sorry, that's a terrible D, my diameter would be 14. So that's the number that I would then have to use in my formula. These formulas are great, but you have to make sure you have the right information for them. So, something to take away from today, you should remember these, most important, these three: radius, diameter, and circumference. Circumference, all the way around the edge of the circle. Remember, the wood was on the edge of the table. Di of meter, diameter, was as tall as the table was standing up. And her sun radius only went to halfway. So if you want to, I'll draw the visual a little bit clearer for you. Oh, I can't. That was a line. I'll draw it even clearer for you. My line is only going to go the way radius went, which was from the center to the bottom. He was a little shorty, so he only went halfway up the table. So those are the three vocab words you should absolutely know. You should know that what a chord is, but a chord cannot be used in my formula. So don't get tricked if they give you a number on this line. Don't think it's the diameter unless it goes through the center. All right, guys. If there's still time left, you can get started on the homework. It is online. Next period, you're going to be working on some packet work and some IXLs. So good luck. I'll see you soon.